Day 2, Tuesday, Kazakhstan, the 2-second Lean Japan experience. We are back in Tokyo and we start off at the Kawada Bridge project out by the Haneda Airport. Now what they're doing is expanding a bridge and refurbishing it, and we got to see them go through the entire process of preparing the concrete and getting it ready and testing it as every load and cement truck arrived. So they are very precise and very exacting about everything they do, doing exactly the right measurements to make sure there's no chance the concrete mix will not hold up. Now the interesting thing is they're replacing a bridge that was made in 1964 and they think it was not done up to standard. I looked at the old bridge, it looked perfectly fine to me, but the Japanese, they're going to do everything at the highest level, and they're replacing the entire structure now with a brand new bridge above and overhead. And Kawada's been working on this project. The total duration of the project might be over 20 years, a $1 billion project. Pretty amazing how much time and effort they put in to a project like this. So you can see in the back of this guy's truck, he's got everything set up to absolutely exacting standards. It's almost crazy what they go through. So he prepares the screen that he's going to put it down on, or the piece of metal, and then puts the concrete in there. And as you see him go through this process, he will absolutely obsess over making sure the slump test is dead on, taking both the temperature of the concrete and the outside air temperature, recording all the statistics on a board. And then a photograph is taken to make sure nothing is ever missed. And this is done on every load of concrete on this bridge. Can you even fathom how much work and how much detail they go to? But they cannot afford a single defect ever. You know, when you think about it, the Japanese developed the Shinkansen train system in 1964, and there hasn't been a single fatality ever on that train system now. And you're talking about a city and a country in the worst seismic area in the world, and there's no wonder there's never been a death, because when somebody takes this kind of care to do everything they do, you understand how quality has been built into the process. There's no chance that anything's going to get past these people. He makes sure that everything is settled down, that there's no chance there's any voids. There would be absolutely no chance that this slump test would not be perfect. He spills a little bit of concrete on the edge, he cleans it all off so there's no way it can interrupt with the flow test, and then he pulls that off and he gets his gauge over to calibrate it, puts it in there, makes sure it's clean when he touches it onto the concrete, and then analyzes that it met the slump test, and then records the data on a board, and a photograph is taken. And this is done just all day long. This is just what they do. It's the way they do work. It is done to exacting standards because there is a process that is clear and defined, and everybody takes pride in what they do. So Tadahiro was nice enough to be with us on this project. Tadahiro Kawada, the president of Kawada Industries, and he said people are proud about what they do. They're proud of the projects they do, and they're proud of the work they do. And you certainly see that in the way this work is done. So just amazing. And then everything is cleaned off perfectly. There's no concrete slopped anywhere. And as you saw the concrete trucks just a minute ago, they have plastic down on the ground and plastic up on the side, so there's no way anything can splatter out and get on anyone. I even saw the concrete truck drivers wiping off their concrete truck, making sure it was spotless. You see the screen here, so nothing can ever splatter out. And they're sequencing these trucks in one after another so that there is no cold lines in the pour up above. So eventually we go up above and you'll be able to see the pour that they're doing on the road. But there's not a cold line anywhere in this concrete. It is just like sequence, truck after truck after truck. They are pumping nonstop, and it's just amazing to watch what they do and how they do it. Now they have a special system where they back up to this board every time. This is the way they've been doing it on every job site across Japan. This is an industry standard. That is what you do. The truck lines up on the side and the back wheel and stops it, and then we go up onto the top of the bridge, and it's literally, you can walk up there barefoot. It's spotlessly clean. All the rebar is treated with a Teflon coating for rust, because it's a very salty environment. This has become the new standard. And then these panels are actually form panels that are extruded concrete and they now leave them in place. So you form with the concrete panels, and then they just stay in place. So you don't have to strip the form boards off. It's just amazing. And then they have a snap tie system, which they attach the other side of the form board to. And then they just release those snap ties and the bolts screw out and away you go. And so all these components here, the rebar is a prefabricated screen. Now this little screed tip right here goes down on top of everything. They screed to the top of it, and then when they're sure they got it the right level, you can see them there, they're everywhere. Then they pull those out, and then they screed over it one more time, and the hole fills in where the screed little nipples are. It's a really cool system that they use. I haven't seen that kind before. I've seen little brushes, but I've never seen this style, and it seems to work really well. We got a great picture of the whole team, and boy, what a project. It's not very often. So clean, they can ride bikes. They have bikes everywhere to ride around the job site. Could you even imagine? And Tadahiro came on the bus and gave us a nice little wrap-up talk and answers from Q&As for us. And then when we went over the MacArthur building, they were pouring there, and it was just as clean. And then inside the insurance building where MacArthur led the reconstruction of Japan, we got to see that. And then up to our lunch spot, and we had a great and wonderful lunch. And then after lunch, we went out and took some great pictures looking over Tokyo Center, and it's just really beautiful. We got some great pictures. The kids were taking pictures, and we got in there and tried to take some pictures with them as well. And Oscar looked just like them, and it was so funny. He said, "Oh, I'll just join the group there. White shirt, blue hat." He looked just like the Japanese kids. It was awesome. And then up to hear Mr. Yabe's talk, we overlooked this amazing construction site. This is the highest building in all of Japan being built right here, and it's just, the job site was just breathtaking when you looked at it. They had these yellow mats down on top of the rebar for walking, which allowed people to move around the rebar very freely. 4 massive cranes up there operating simultaneously, building this building up. And then when we first overlooked this building, almost a year ago, they were down in the dirt. They were digging and excavating. And here they are. Look how far along they've come. And here's the yellow walkways they have everywhere. Safety, 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 quality, cleanliness. Oh my gosh, the place was just flawless. A massive job site. And then Mr. Yabe talked about the 7-minute miracle, and we had a great talk there. Quite a translation feat to go from Japanese to English to Russian, but we were able to pull that off. And then over to see the 7-minute miracle and the arrival of the JR North Shinkansen, and then the cleaning that goes on as it arrives. Just an amazing process. We saw the pointing and calling, and that is just a standard practice with all Japanese, and particularly on the railway system. And then inside the Shinkansen for a breathtaking look at the way these people work so conscientiously, taking care of this national treasure. And it's just a national icon, the Shinkansen. It's amazing. This is business class seat. You can see how all the seats turn around automatically depending upon the direction the train's going. And they run through there and they clean everything just spotless. It's just, wow. Amazing to watch the conscientiousness and the way these people work. Then we got a photo shot with everybody in front of this beautiful train system developed in 1964, then pointing, calling, and then bowing to the train. And the train is off, pointing and calling. Don't you love it? Nothing like Japanese excellence. It's on display everywhere you go in Japan. What an experience. And over to the Skytree. What a busy day we had. And this is the highest TV tower in the world. And we went to the top and we got some great views. And boy, again, another example of Japanese excellence on display. The views are spectacular. We even had a break in the weather. We've had rain for the last couple of days, but we got enough sunshine that we could really see out over Tokyo, the city of about 35 million people, the biggest city in the world that is calm, quiet, and clean. Zero chaos in the city. I don't know how the Japanese do it, but they do it like nobody else in the world. Day 2, Kazakhstan, Japan experience.